from AldermanFarms. Here's a quick tip for you. Cream of chicken soup. I have a cup of chicken broth on the stove right here. It was frozen and I've been thawing it out. This was actually bone broth. I use it in place of chicken broth, and I had it in the freezer, and so I have it. It's good and hot, and I'm going to take about, and it's got some salt in it. I may add some more. I'm going to put about a half a cup of milk. Maybe a little more. Now it's about a half a cup of milk and about a tablespoon of flour. And you know, if this isn't just right, I can add a little more, or I can add a little more liquid. So anyway, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of flour. I want my liquid pretty warm, like that, boiling. I have a little whisk here because of flour. And this is going to be gluten-free. I'm gluten-free, so I'm using my gluten-free flour. I'm just going to dump this in all at one time. I'm only using the half a cup of milk because I don't want to take away from the chicken flavor, and I don't really measure this precisely, exactly, but like I said, if it's too thick, you could add a little milk to it. If it's too thin, I can just repeat what I just did, except I probably would dip some of this out to do it. Now the cream of chicken soup that you buy in the store has little chunks of chicken in it. This doesn't have that because this was just broth that I made. But this is still a lot quicker than running to the store and buying it, and it's a lot better for you. Of course, it's not quite as rich as what you buy at the store. I could have added some butter to this to make it more rich, but I'm going to be putting this in a recipe that has cream of mushroom soup, and it's got butter in it, so it'll be plenty rich enough. So you want to stir it the whole time because it will scorch on the bottom and stick, especially once it starts thickening up. I also will double or triple this what I just did, and it goes well in the freezer, so you can have some just in the freezer where you don't have to make it each time you need it. You could do in the freezer, you can just pull it out, and I would just put it like in about a cup to a cup and a half size in the bag. So now see, that's not thickening up now that it's boiling, so I'm just going to dip a little bit out like this. When I made my cream of mushroom soup, I made it too thick to begin with, and I had to go back and forth with it. But you know what? That's what you can do. So really, this would equal probably to a cup and a half. I'm sorry, my goodness, a tablespoon and a half of flour into that cup, into that half a cup of milk. I'm kind of being tongue-tied today. So to start with a cup of chicken broth, half a cup of milk with a heaping tablespoon of flour, and kind of go from there. And of course, that's with my gluten-free flour. Your flour may thicken it a little better, so you might want to start with less, and then, like I just did, and you can always add more. Now this is not as thick as what comes in the can, but I'll set this aside. It's thick enough right now. I'll set this aside, and as it cools, it will get a lot thicker. And remember, what you get in the can is condensed. What I've just made is not condensed. In the can you usually add water to it if you're going to eat it as a soup. And it would be about this consistency. But as this cools off, it will get a lot thicker. But there you go. That's how I make cream of chicken soup.